Hey guys, and welcome to WeTV Online. Today I'm joined by artiste, animation guru, and self-confessed comic book nerd, Wayne Talbot. Wayne, how are you?
How's it going?
Good, good. Now I like this. This is your take on self-portrait. Dark and sinister. How did this one come about?
Well, I was asked to do a piece for somebody regarding just having a bad day, and I started doing some rough sketches on post-its and stuff, and that finished piece started off as a post-it, scanned it into a computer, blew it up using my computer, and finished it off in there, and you can see it's kind of sinister and dark.
Sure.
But
Skull Eye.
It got to what it was asked to be.
Have a bad day. Okay, folks, we're talking about animation, and here they are, Brown Bag, doing what they're doing. And yeah, these fellas are responsible for Teenology, Give Up Your L Sins, and Crap Rap. Here's a quick look behind the scenes.
Hey there, world. Are you ready for us? The hottest pair of rappers on the school bus.
Hi, I'm Nicky, and I created Crap Rap, which we made here in Brown Bag Films, where we made Teenology, I'm an Animal, and Grabby Bag, and all kinds of other things that are on RTE at the minute. We're going to go through how you get an episode of Crap Rap from script to finished animation, and the first stage of that is to do a storyboard, which is basically just drawings based on what's happening in the script at any given moment. So this is a scene from the Crap Rap special, where Berno has been practicing talking to Tanya when she arrives at the party. The most important thing really about the storyboards is the posing and an idea of the expression that the character has on their face. So here's the storyboard. It's been scanned in and timed out to the voice track that we've recorded with the actors already.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I was the lead animator on Crap Rap, and I'm just going to take you through quickly how we animate using Toon Boom. We work on our animation roughs. We've already roughed in the action. To do that, normally what we do is quickly go in to the drawing mode. So what we can do then is we can quickly just go in and trace off some of the drawing. This gives the animator a guide then of how they can bring in the finished puppet, and that's how we would build up roughly how the animation is going to work for the entire scene. So once we've got that done, we can start working with our puppet. We can go in and start manipulating different parts of his body. So once we've pretty much copied the key poses, we can bring in our backgrounds, and here's just a finished render of it, so you can see what the character does in this shot. This is another scene in which we're going to put some special effects on. We normally just put some drop shadows on the characters. So when we render that, we can see then we've got some nice soft shadows on the characters.
I've had my heart broken, you know.
All right.
Now that we've done all the animation, the last stage is just adding the final music and sound effects, and then the scene is good to go.
Hey, Tanya. Word up, Tanya.
The lads at Brown Bag there. You went to college with one of those guys?
Nicky, yeah, I went to college with Nicky, yeah.
Okay, we have some examples of your work, starting firstly with a caricature piece of yourself
Yep.
and a few of your pals. What exactly is this now?
This is a piece from a webcomic I'm developing. Webcomics have become huge recently. Everyone's getting involved. There's the most famous one being Penny Arcade. There's another one that's very good. It's called Drastic Comics by an Irish artist called Adam Murray. There really is a great way to get your work out there.
All right, up next we have The Zombie. This now is eerie, okay? If you're easily disturbed, look away. But there it is!
Yeah.
It says some sinister stuff. I like the style, man. I like the movement. Obviously, you got to have a familiarity with anatomy and form and what have you.
Yeah, you do. Like, I mean, you have to study what you're drawing. You have to be, aware of what's meant to be in the picture. If you don't draw what's meant to be there, like a human being, it's going to look strange.
Sure.
But obviously, that's a bit decomposed, but it's meant to be human.
And basic sketching, we have an ogre here now, which is
Yeah.
kind of great use of shade, man.
Thanks. That is actually a rough. It's one of the rough pieces of up to a final piece. You don't just start off with a final piece. You kind of have to work your way up, and that's kind of one of the roughs that would build up to what would be a final piece.
How influential has basically comic book art been on your style?
Comic book art has been huge in my influential style. I've been reading comics since I was a young kid, and I mean, artists like Jim Lee, Simon Beasley, they're two of my favourite comic book artists, and they really lead into it,
Now here's one. This actually started off just as merchandise, as toys, and then it just took off from there. Became a comic. More recently became a film. I'm of course referring to Transformers.
Yeah.
Here is Optimus Prime.
Yeah, no, Transformers again. It's grown up in the '80s. It's one of the things I watched when I was a kid. And this is a piece that I did for a person who asked for an old drawing of Optimus Prime from the old generation, rather than the new ones. But it's back on the scene big time, and there's new comics, there's new merchandise, there's a sequel coming out next year. So it's back on the scene. It's great.
Who's been your biggest influence in terms of artists? Who would you cite? Like,
Well, like I mentioned, Jim Lee, he did the X-Men comics, which are these ones here. This is an old Jim Lee comic I got back in the 90s. It's signed by Jim Lee. It's one of my old ones. Jim Lee, Simon Beasley is another one. Hirschfeld, Alex Hirschfeld is a caricature artist from the 30s. Disney took a lot of influence from him doing Fantasia 2000. A lovely piece called Rhapsody in Blue. Really check it out, really good.
Okay.
You know, that'll be one of the major influences, kind of animation side of it. Then like, anything from...
anything and everything.
Yeah, anything and everything. Frank Miller as well is great.
Needless to say. Now, another one to watch, obviously, this summer is going to be the release of Dark Knight, and this is arguably the greatest villain of all time. I'm, of course, referring to the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, no, see, the thing was, again, it's time with the animation. The Dark Knight and Warner Brothers have embraced the whole anime side of things now. They've taken on board that they're going to release a 6-story DVD that bridges the gap between the two movies, Batman Begins, Dark Knight. Dark Knight, yeah. And it's done in the whole style of anime. And anime
It's all originated in Japan.
All originated in Japan. It started off there with the manga comics, went into anime, which is the manga turned to cartoons.
Sure.
And then it kind of hit the West, kind of like early 90s, late 80s, with the release of Akira. Now, it was in the West in the 60s with the likes of Astro Boy, but this hit it big. You can see all the influences now of anime in Hollywood, and Akira being the one
That's the one that set the tone.
Yeah.
Hailed as arguably the greatest animation of all time. This is Akira. Pay attention.
This is Unit 375. We've got reports of biker gangs fighting near the intersection of Highway 14 South. Request immediate assistance. Car 375 en route to the scene. Again, request immediate assistance.
It's the cops. What should we do? Ah, damn it. My motocrollers were just getting warmed up. Bastards! Let's go! I'm coming! Damn them! Come on!
Akira, if you're remotely interested in animation and you haven't seen it, we strongly recommend that you do. Now, before he leaves us, lo and behold, here's another gift for us. This is it. Have a look at this. This is Wayne's portrayal of the Wii TV set. And looking good, I have to say. He's got us all covered. We've got our fish, we've got a computer. There's me kicking it on the futon. And he's even got my t-shirt down. That's kind of freaky. He obviously ran out of yellow, but it's looking good. And the gnome, not on the shelf. He's nice and sinister, down there in the foreground. Nasty, nasty. Gnomes are evil. They're very small, big hands, and they smell of cabbage. Thanks a million for coming in, Wayne.
No problem at all.
Very much appreciated. So on behalf of myself, Wayne, and the gnome, that's all for us here at WeTV Online. Until next time.